Big changes are coming to My Hero Academia very soon. The setting has changed drastically, and the same can be said for the characters. In this video, we'll be going over what has changed recently and what changes are likely to come very soon following the events of Deku's Rogue Arc and Bakugo's apology. As always, if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to Plot Armor with notifications on to never miss an upload. We upload just about daily and would love to have you join in on these Plot Army discussions. We're approaching 300,000 subscribers and need all the help we can get to reach this milestone. Over on Instagram and Twitter, we're doing a little art contest where you guys have the chance to have your art featured in our next My Hero Academia chapter discussion video. All you have to do is post your art on Instagram or Twitter with the hashtag PlotArmyArt. All the details are available over on Instagram and Twitter, so be sure to check that out. With that said, let's get into this. If it hasn't been clear already, this video will contain manga spoilers, so if that's not your thing, proceed with caution. Up until this point in the My Hero Academia story, Class 1A has been very close. You could almost say they had no choice but to become close due to their shared life-threatening experiences. These near-death experiences were not things other students, friends, or family could relate to. It's not very often a group becomes the main target of multiple villain operations. Shared trauma forced them close from the very beginning, and it was not just this trauma that brought them close. Simply being classmates did that as well. The same concept exists in the real world. When a group is studying together, succeeding together, and failing together, they naturally become closer. So what we have now is not solely a product of the War Arc or Deku's Rogue Arc. It's the end product of dozens of shared experiences during this first year of high school. Yes, just the first year. While they should be on their second year now, Class 1A has been in their first year of high school for all 7 years of the story's serialization. It's insane, but as we all know, it's been an unusually active year of school. During this year, we've seen bonds and friendship circles grow stronger, visible in cases like Kaminari and Jiro, or Aoyama and Deku. All these little circles have grown alongside the collective, and it's made a class that is now stronger than Kirishima's unbreakable form. By becoming closer, they didn't merely become good friends that have healthy relationships. Their teamwork in battle is now essentially perfect. During the mission to stop Deku, the impromptu coordination we saw was insane. Yes, it did feel a little underwhelming that they needed to do all of that to try to slow or mirror Deku's power, but in the end, objectively, that teamwork was amazing. The potential for Class 1A to reach greatness was always there. Looking back, there were cases of great impromptu teamwork. This is a talented group of students. The very fact that they made it into UA is proof of this, and that genius has been seen from the start. Now, however, the individual combat experiences since then, as well as the group efforts, has created this new Class 1A. We know they're to play a role in the end of the story, and so our best guess previously was that along with the pro heroes, they would take on the remaining Nomu. At the start of the series, this would seem impossible, but now with their individual and collective growth, it's very much possible. The best victory over a high-end Nomu was only possible because of a team effort. That combination of quirks between Hawks and Endeavor was thrilling, and we believe a look at what's to come later with Class 1A. At the center of Class 1A, we of course have Deku, who is currently going through it. While still recovering from the War Arc trauma, he's taken on a whole new set of pain in this Rogue Arc. It's reminiscent of how people say they're still processing 2020 while 2021 beats on them. Because of how accurately Bakugo assessed and predicted Deku's behavior, you could say he's being himself. You could argue that Deku has not changed much. However, if we look closely, you can see he's at least undergoing some changes. Of course, at the start of the series, he saw the Hero Society in a positive light, and now that perception has surely changed over time. The most drastic change probably came when he learned of Lady Nagan's backstory. To know the good guys the Hero Commission had used Lady Nagan in that way had to have made it more clear than ever that this conflict is not merely the good and bad guys. Society is not black and white, it's gray. Seeing heroes fall into retirement also surely has affected the perception of Deku and civilians. For the civilians, it probably confirms that yeah, the hero shouldn't have been trusted to begin with, and now Deku is seeing society for what it really is. And not only that, but he's gone from working with everyone to doing it alone. Doing things alone for the sake of protecting everyone else is not exactly new for Deku. However, leaving everyone to fight alone is not what he's done previously. He's fallen into the trap All Might had also, and fair enough, because their personalities are very similar. Now, Class 1A did manage to bring him back to UA. There are still some obstacles, but they've made it to this point. In the end, it's almost guaranteed that Deku will end up back on the side of Class 1A, but what will that look like? Well, for starters, I think we'll see greater teamwork than ever before. Deku is still the main star, and his power is not even comparable to theirs, but it seems like a group effort is a main theme in the story. That's not going anywhere. When we look back on all the biggest moments, there are hardly any solo acts. Endeavor did not beat Hood alone, DEKU did not beat Overhaul alone, Stain was not beaten alone, and Shigaraki during the war too was not beaten alone. My Hero Academia is just not that type of story. There were a string of solo victories for DEKU, but this whole rogue arc is not the story's norm, and these can be forgotten in the grand scheme of things. In the same way that Endeavor, the #1 hero, did not win alone, DEKU too will most likely not. It's been emphasized too much that doing things alone is not the right way. We're more likely to see efforts like what we saw against Gigantomachia during the war when it comes to this story, and so a stronger DEKU in Class 1A should lead to scenes that will soon make the efforts against Stain feel like child's play. Another important point pertaining to DEKU is that now that he's seen the ugly that comes from the Hero Society, it's likely he'll begin to look at the bigger picture beyond All For One and Shigaraki. Right now, All For One is in this man's head, rent-free, but eventually, I believe we see him think bigger than All For One. Whether that's at some point before the final fight or after it remains to be seen, but it's clear that defeating All For One won't prevent something as dark as this from ever happening again. And we've been saying that on this channel, you guys know this. To become the greatest hero, DEKU will do more than defeat All For One. Before we go any further, in the comments let us know how you feel about all of that. Does DEKU really need to do more than defeat All For One? Is seeing more teamwork what you want, or are you more for the one-on-one hype? Let us know all of that and more below. You've probably been waiting for this topic. It's time to talk about Bakugo and his relationship with DEKU. Alright, so Bakugo has changed a lot. That's pretty undeniable. From the start of the story to now, he's gone from a bully who told his childhood friend to take a leap off their middle school building to now a very caring friend to that same kid, and not surface level caring. He's risked his life for DEKU. He's observed him in such a detailed way that it rivals DEKU's note taking on all of his classmates. Bakugo is now a good friend and a very good character. He was my favorite character from the very beginning. His confidence, quirk, and design were all too appealing. I fell for this character immediately, and all of a sudden this sounds like a confession, but we're going to keep going. While I love this character, I could recognize that he was simply a jerk, and extremely so. Compared to the other characters front and center, there wasn't much to him besides being a jerk. And so while I was a huge fan, I couldn't blame anyone for not being one as well. Now though, we've seen him grow drastically. He's stopped looking down on everyone else. He's paid attention to his own strengths and weaknesses. The man has changed as much as any other character in the story, maybe even more so. And a part of you has to wonder if Horikoshi has gone this far on Bakugo's character because he feels he went too far in the beginning. This is not speculation. He did in fact say he might have gone too far with Bakugo in the beginning. But the question is, if he's done so much for the character to make sure he's made up for the beginning. We probably won't ever know the answer to that, but it's worth thinking on. The moment Bakugo basically called out DEKU for essentially doing what he used to do, and then later referring to him by his real name, Izuku, it was clear there was no going back. And now with the air cleared, it's possible there will be another conversation once DEKU is cleaned up and not exhausted, but now that the air is cleared, the two can become a true duo. In the same way we've seen duos in other popular anime, it may be time for these two to go down that road as well. And what a beautiful thing that is. I hope before the series ends we get another volume of the two together that contrasts volume 2 of the series. So yeah, big changes are to come. DEKU will definitely accept the apology and the two will go forward along with the rest of Class 1A. Unfortunately, there's been no real changes with DEKU and Uraraka's relationship, but that too will come in time. Together, Class 1A has come a very long way. There are so many great relationships in this group. You know a series has a lot going on when one chapter, an interaction between two characters can make you cry, DEKU and Ida, and then the next chapter, an interaction between another two characters, DEKU and Bakugo, can also make you cry. Amazingly written relationships between characters, and we just had to talk about it all with you guys today. This group is going through a little ugly phase, but once it's cleaned up, beautiful things are to come and we'll see things we have never seen before in this story. With that said, we hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to Plot and notifications on to never miss an upload. We're approaching the 300,000 subscriber mark and need your help getting there. Be sure to also follow us on Instagram and Twitter to stay up to date on all things anime and manga, join in on discussions, and even giveaways. We recently gave away a couple manga volumes to thank you guys for your support, so go on over there so you don't miss out. Until next time, keep that plot on you. I'm KJ. Have a great day. Goodbye.